And so we invented the concept of fan tokens.
Just been on fire, man, especially when everything else has been flat or down.
You as a fan token holder can vote on decision of the club, Barcelona, Arsenal, Manchester City, whatever. This year, we are giving away 17,000 real tickets.
Binance just came out with a new index. That thing ripped last night. Well, I don't know anything about it. The crypto native people really don't know about it, but the rest of the world is clearly on this.
We are bigger than most of these companies, but because we never raise money, because we don't do NFT, yet we have more users than most of these NFT companies, they never really care about us because we were just a token.
There's only one way out from here, and that's up.
Alex, it's nice to have you here. The fan tokens, the Chiliz, the Socios ecosystem, it's just been on fire, man, especially when everything else has been flat or down. Why do you think that is? Why are things taking off right now for you?
Well, I guess it's a bit frustrating actually for an entrepreneur because people will talk about us thanks to the price, but the price doesn't necessarily reflect the value or at least the work we've done for the last 2 years and a half. Actually, last year we announced some NBA teams, NFL teams, Champions League, Leo Messi, whatever. This doesn't impact, and it's not the point. But it is suddenly because there is a price surge in Chiliz that people get more attention. And I love to hate it, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Do you think it's a perfect storm of Premier League soccer coming back? I mean, what do you think caused it, though, if you have to put a finger on it?
I guess I'm not entitled, I will say, to comment on price because what does it mean? What I know is we have more and more users using Chiliz, using Socios.com. We have 1.5 million users now. It's growing every day. And we are just ramping up the launch of Chiliz Chain 2.0, which is more or less it's a proof of authority, but proof of stake chain dedicated to the sports and entertainment space. So you can imagine, for example, that most of the teams we have, Barcelona, Arsenal, Manchester City, or whatever, will become node and validators of the chain by the end of the year or next year. So there is a lot of things happening. Again, price doesn't matter, never mattered the last 4 years. What matters is us and the 270 employees we have dedicated to grow the business we are doing.
It's been funny that there's this trader I follow, Abelwat, and as you get in crypto, as you spend more time here, you realize you can't cover it all, right? You can never stay on top of everything. And one of the things he's been talking about lately was Chiliz and these fan tokens. And I was watching it. I had never owned any. I knew about your project. I've watched it for a while. And I thought to myself, I've never heard of it, but I'm just going to track this thread. It looks interesting. And sure enough, a week goes by, 2 weeks goes by. These things continue to do well, and they're doing so well. Like Binance just came out with a new index, and that thing ripped last night. And I thought to myself, I said, well, I don't know anything about it. And I go, I feel like no one else in crypto, like the crypto native people really don't know about it, but the rest of the world is clearly on this. And so I said, you know what? Probably a good idea to have Alex on and come walk through this. So if you could, let's take a step back and what's a 1-minute explainer of Chiliz, Socios, and now the fan tokens, which so many people love? What's the best way to describe this thing?
It's very easy. 99% of sports fans are not in a stadium, not in a city, not even sometimes in the country of the team they are supporting. The idea or the genesis of the idea we had 4.5 years ago was what can we create that is valuable for a fan and scalable for a team. And so we invented the concept of fan tokens. Fan tokens are not NFTs, they are fungibles. And they are somehow a loyalty program 3.0, whatever that means. They are a membership program. Mm-hmm. You as a fan token holder, you can vote on decision of the club. You can get 10%, 20%, 30% discount on the merchandise. You can more or less have a social status towards the team or the teams that you're supporting. And that's how it started. And to achieve that, we created a blockchain called Chiliz. We can go in details into that eventually, but it's called Chiliz. And that blockchain carries all the fan tokens. So all the fan tokens are issued and minted on the Chiliz blockchain. Historically, very, let's say, closed circuit. Now it's becoming more and more open. Mm-hmm. We're going to actually semi-announce a $50 million investment for developers. So we are creating an ecosystem. What we've done 4 years ago is we started to focus on the users and not on the blockchain. Not that we have users and we have 150 and some of the biggest IPs in the world. Now we focus a little bit more in the blockchain. And that's why the crypto native people never really care about us because we were just a token.
Right.
We were just another one. And truth to be told, we are not Americans. And actually, we are neither Americans or Asian. And in Europe, because we are European, we get less exposure in both of these territories that actually are leading the crypto space. So, but that's great because the fact that we didn't have noise around us helped us focusing on the right things.
Yeah, it's being able to build in quiet and not have so many people asking you about price and expectations, it let you build up all this momentum for when the moment comes now and people are catching on, everyone watching this catches on. It's like now you've had 4 years of progress. It's much easier to kind of take that. So it's like a blessing in disguise in a way.
Yeah, we're happy. Again, the pricing, can't talk about that, obviously. The interest in what we do, and I see that because we get, of course, inbound requests, is for sure getting stronger and stronger. What happened last year was the NFT boom. Let's say actually 2020 was more DeFi kind of boom, what we call the summer, DeFi summer. Last year was driven by NFTs. Clearly, March 2021, NBA Top Shot and everything went crazy. Bitcoin went crazy, of course. For us, again, not price, but in terms of hype and appetite into what we do, we actually suffered of the NFT hype because NFT as a product, forget price, as a product and as a tech, took over the space PR-wise and media-wise last year, and even financially. A lot of people, a lot of companies raised a lot of money. And yet we are bigger than most of these companies. But because we never raised money, we didn't have to. And because we don't do NFT, yet we have more users than most of these NFT companies, it was a bit frustrating. Now, it's cool because the whole market cooled down. There is much less noise and distraction. So for us, doesn't matter. But for example, for sports team, leagues that used to receive a call every week, hey, I'm going to give you $1 million, $5 million if I can do the NFT for you, whatever. This doesn't exist anymore. That's good because that was a problem actually at some point.
What was it like making the decision to not do the NFT style? Because like, as you said, what we've seen in the past year or two as NFTs, got this serious wind and that's all anyone would talk about. And they were sponsoring sports teams, NBA teams, you'd say, how do I participate? How do I support this player? How do I support this musician? Or how do I support this artist? They would just drop an NFT collection. A lot of times a big company would come in and say, we're the only company you can buy the official NFT from for this sports team or for this celebrity. You kind of went the opposite approach. And this was before the NFT boom. And you said, we're not going to do NFTs. We're going to make this fungible. So if I buy a sports team token or a fan token of Juventus or Manchester City or Barcelona, it's not an NFT, it's just a token. Like what was the decision there and why do you think this is the better approach? Because as you said, clearly it's much bigger than a lot of the NFT companies that people are so familiar with.
And it's interesting. First of all, I have a love-hate relationship with NFT.
Yeah.
I love the tech, I hate the hype. And don't take me wrong, we benefited of the hype last year as well in many ways. So that's a little bit ironic. But for us, we took the angle of fungible because we think it's more scalable. We think NFTs, as we know them today, sports-wise, is more an American, or actually a North American play, rather than a European and Asian play. Time will tell if we are right or wrong. But for us, we believe that there is, for example, you create Bored Apes, which is amazing. It's a native crypto product that works very well because it's actually a native product. NFTs that are based of non-native brands, it's a little bit more difficult actually to monetize, and we saw that, or we see that for the last 12 months. We think, for example, if you take Barcelona, FC Barcelona, they have 300, 400 million fans. You cannot just launch 10,000 NFTs. It will not be scalable because then what do you do with the other fans? So in the case of Barca, we created 40 million tokens. These tokens are minted, or they're not issued, but they are minted. And then we release this token over 10 years, 12 years, whatever. But they are fungibles, meaning that they are tradable, meaning that they worth $5 or $10 or $20. They don't worth 10,000, they don't worth 400,000. So they are reachable, and it's something that people can buy. And we believed, at least 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, when we started, that was the right approach. Then the way we embrace NFT, for example, is you own a Paris Saint-Germain fan token. The team is playing tonight. They are scoring a goal. As a reward, as a free reward, you're getting an NFT that will be the translation of that event, whatever is the media that we attach to that. But only a certain percentage of these token holders will receive that NFT. And that NFT will become tradable because whoever owns the NFT of all the goals of this season will be invited in the VIP box that we have there. So we see NFT as rewards. No, we're not going to sell NFTs. except in very specific case, but that's the job of Dapper and Sorer and a few other guys. We don't want to compete at all in that space. We focus in fan engagement, not in gaming. We don't do games. And we think that fan tokens are the answer for that, or one of the answers.
What are the other uses of a fan token? Let's say I own a PSG fan token. I go to the game, goal happens. Obviously, you just walk through one where if the goal happens, I get an NFT. Now there's just this collection of goal scorer NFTs, and I get to sit in the box at the end of the season. What else can you do? Do you get a vote on team decisions? Can I bet with my fan token? If we win, do I win more fan tokens? How does this all work?
No, you cannot bet because that will become gambling.
Right.
It's illegal or at least regulated. We don't do gambling. The idea is really for us about fan engagement. We think that two things matter for a fan. One, being recognized. Today, when you follow a team, you follow their Twitter account. Great, but it's a one-way relationship. It's an anonymous relationship. So because you own a fan token, because you're in the Socios.com app, you have it. You can, in a way, you have a social status, a digital social status. By owning that, you can vote on decision of the club. The decision of the club is not you deciding who's going to play. That's not your job. But you're going to be able to decide what's going to be the music in the stadium when you score a goal, which makes sense because you are the one watching the match, or you're the one watching the match even on TV. You can decide the design of the jersey next season, which makes sense because you're the one who's going to buy it anyway. You're going to be able to decide what's going to be the number of the player that you just signed during the transfer market. These kind of small things that are not business or sports, in the middle, it is fan engagement. And our job is to try to push the clubs, to push the sports team or the leagues sometimes to try to give more to their fans. And we are the driving force behind that because we are the one putting the money to make it happen.
You mentioned the example of being able to sit in the VIP box. Is there any other use cases of like access? Because that's what you hear so much about NFTs, where if they sell an NFT for this celebrity or athlete, maybe you get a meet and greet, you get to see them after the game, or you get to ask them a certain question. Is that potentially going to become available? If I hold enough fan tokens for Ronaldo's team, do I get to meet Ronaldo?
This year, we are giving away 17,000 real tickets in all our box and tickets all over the world. 17,000. We are one of the biggest company in terms of rewards. And how do you get these tickets? You have your mobile app. You put $20, $5, doesn't matter. You buy a fan token of a team or several teams. The more you engage, the more you vote, the more you log. I mean, you have to log in every day. There is many actions and gamification that allows you to get, let's say, miles/XP points /loyalty points, and you can redeem these loyalty points in a fan shop against VIP experiences. I was in Paris. I'm in Europe. I was Sunday in Paris to a game in the VIP box of Paris Saint-Germain. It's a 12 box. We had 10 token holders that redeem their loyalty points, not their tokens. They redeem their loyalty points that they earn because they were engaged into the app to get these tickets. And this, we do it already. One thing that you need to keep in mind, everybody is always excited about, you can have VIP experience. But yes, but that's not scalable. You cannot scale real life experiences. So you need to think about what can you offer to someone that is in Japan, in Korea, in Brazil, in Turkey. That's the power of these brands. And that's why we at Socios.com and Chiliz, we don't focus on the 1% of the fans that are in the stadium. We are not here to enhance your experience in the stadium. They don't need that. We are here to try to build a new relationship between the team and the rest of the world outside of the city.
You have to have one of the best jobs of any blockchain company CEO. I mean, I look at other founders, they're arguing about consensus mechanisms and DeFi and LP pools. You're in the VIP box, you're going to soccer games. I mean, you're a smart man.
No, it's just, the thing is, we are a consumer-facing product. At the end, we are one of the rare consumer-facing product using blockchain that is not either a wallet or a crypto exchange. And that's what we do. It's still very early, obviously, and there are a lot of things that doesn't work. But at the end, that's what we are doing. We are onboarding users that want to engage with their teams, knowing that the team is not exclusive. Fans of today are not fans of one team and one sport. They are fans of multiple teams and multiple sports. That's why we have 160 plus sports brands all over the world. It's because fans of UFC may gonna like a bit Formula One because of Netflix, and then they're gonna like that team in Europe because of that player, etc., etc. So our job is a bit like Facebook and any other big platform, is to have a massive network effect by having access to all of these teams at the same in the same ecosystem and the same blockchain. And yes, it is a cool job, but it's very intense.
I can imagine. One of the amazing things about what you've built, and also I'm trying to think of other consumer-facing blockchain apps. STEPN is really the only other one that comes to mind in the past year that had so many users, and it kind of caught a lot of crypto native people off guard. In that, I think both of your apps, and correct me if I'm wrong, most people probably don't even have to know too much about blockchain or even really know they're using a blockchain when they're using the app. It seems like that's one area of crypto that most like crypto companies haven't figured out. And then someone like you comes along, and that I think is a big reason why you've been able to grow so fast and scale so well. Is when someone just wants to support a sports team, they want to do it because they love the sport. They don't need to know, they don't have to believe in Bitcoin and believe in all this other stuff. I think a cool side effect is eventually they will learn they're using the blockchain and maybe they get interested in Ethereum and Bitcoin. But that has to be one of the amazing little things you've worked out. Do most people know they're using a blockchain?
No, they don't. We don't use the word crypto, for example, I think at all as a marketing material. We use the word token. We use the word digital asset and digital collectible. We don't use the word NFT. And when you download the app, you can put, I think $5 is the entry point. You can put $5 with your credit card. And we're doing the payment processor as well ourselves, meaning that we are not dependent of anybody for us to be successful as a consumer-facing product. And it's because also it is our background. We don't come from the tech. We come from the tech, but we don't come from the finance industry. We are not here to change the world. We have a very simple mission. It's not about decentralization of everything in the world. No, our mission is there are 4 billion, 5 billion, it doesn't matter. There is sports fans all over the world. Somehow they are interacting and engaging with one or many sports brands. And our job is to try to capture a small percentage of these fans in order to offer them an enhanced experience. And we do that through the digital asset that we created, the fan tokens. There is a bit of gamification and everything around that, but that's our journey. And do we educate into crypto somehow? Yes, for sure. And that's why crypto trading platform and crypto world in general is supporting now. But it takes a lot of time because we have a different narrative.
How many fans do you think you have on your platform now? Like soccer's the hands down the biggest sport in the world. I know most people in America don't even understand that, but you have this app where a lot of sports supporters, a lot of soccer fans, if Juventus is my favorite team, I'm going to buy a fan token. How much of that market have you penetrated?
0.1% at max.
1%, okay.
Yeah, no, 0.1%.
Okay.
I will say. The thing is, and that's true for any innovation and product innovation and product launch. Listen, we were last year in the front jersey of Inter Milan. We are a partner of Paris Saint-Germain for the last 4 years. We have Leo Messi as an ambassador of the product. We have all of this cool stuff. The NBA, the Lakers. If you go on the Twitter of the Lakers account, you will see that we're also partner of the Lakers. My point is, you can have all the biggest brands in the world promoting you through digital media. It's not enough to actually engage with their community. And that's actually the whole point. Sports teams are not media. They don't own their fans. So it is on us to go after their fans everywhere in order to educate them about what we do. And that's why it's a journey that's going to take 10, 20 years. But our job in the next 10, 20 years is actually to completely, sorry, got a call at the same time. The goal is really to try to create a massive sports community that will engage and will engage with a digital asset.
You hinted at this. You said you're coming to the U.S. market. You just said you're working with the LA Lakers, and we spoke last week, and you kind of showed me some of the things in the pipeline, coming to the NFL, coming to the NBA. A lot of Americans probably don't know about you yet because you focus so much on soccer, but I think that might change soon. NFL season coming up. Am I going to be able to support my favorite team?
So in US, we have a bit of a different strategy because the regulatory framework is complex, to say the least.
Yeah.
And therefore, we have a very clear approach. We never launched more or less any fan tokens of NBA teams or NFL teams till now. We are launching a dedicated US app that will have, let's say, a dedicated experience for US users only. But we are not launching yet fan tokens in US. We are waiting to get a clearance and a guidance, let's say, from the regulatory framework. Once this will happen, then of course it's gonna be fun. But that will take weeks, months, or years. It's not really a matter of if; it's more a matter of when. And at that point, we have to be patient. That's why we were focusing also on the rest of the world.
Right.
The rest of the world is much easier in terms of regulatory framework. We are even licensed in Italy. We are being licensed in many other countries. We have the regulators engaging with us and supporting what we do. But in US, different sports, different animal, so we are very cautious. Having said so, we've made a deal with more than 20 NBA teams that has been announced. We've made a deal with more than 14 NFL teams. And once we'll get, but let's say once we get clearance, then we'll go with these teams to start.
It's wild how hard it is regulatory-wise to work in the U.S. And that's true for Bitcoin, for ETH. I mean, there's a million tokens I can't even trade because I'm here in the U.S. Why is the U.S. so damn tough on everything? I guess even sports, it's tough to get regulated here.
First of all, U.S., the way sports is managed in U.S. is completely different than the rest of the world with the leagues. The leagues owning more or less everything. In Europe, it's not the same. In Latin America or in Asia, it's not the same. So first of all, the sports are managed differently, and they are different sports, NBA, football, NFL, or sports that don't exist in a way in the rest of the world. They are powerful, but they are not outside. Then regulatory-wise, I don't know. I'm not American, so I will not comment. I guess there is a need of protection, which I understand, which exists in every country. But it is more difficult, and actually that's why you see, interestingly, less innovation in US than in the rest of the world. And that's frustrating. And as someone that comes from the sports betting industry, I was in the online poker and sports betting industry before, was the same. Online sports betting got regulated 4 or 5 years ago now, but before it was not. And yet it was all over Europe. Every single country in Europe was regulated, licensed and regulated, which means that suddenly you had European company that invested in US and acquired US company, or vice versa. So interesting dynamic. Again, this is a long play. I don't have to worry about what's going to happen in the next few weeks or few months. The play here is sports will stay forever. Even if Bitcoin goes to zero, there will always be sports fan. And our job is to try to bring new experiences and enhance that relationship.
Yeah. That's actually a really unique point too that I hadn't thought about. There's so many projects that claim, if Bitcoin died, my token would still do well. And I think to myself, I say, no, that probably doesn't make sense. Like Bitcoin has to exist, Ethereum, these big things have to exist, or else, your small project won't matter. For you though, you might be the one project where no one's going to stop caring about sports. It could be a bear market, a bull market. People love sports. That never changes. It'll never go away.
For sure. Today, we are still, and I'm not afraid to say that, we're still crypto dependent today because the first generation of users that are coming to our platform are crypto native. Why? Because they don't have to be educated. They understand what we do the same way you will understand what we do as soon as you get to know it. You didn't know it till now, but now that you get to know it, it kind of makes sense. For the non-crypto native, for the I would say, early adopters, we need to educate them. We need to push and educate. And so that will take time. So like any cycle of innovation, I always take the, like the Nintendo console or Sega console 20 or probably 30 years ago. The first guy who got that console at home were geek like me. You're a geek, you have no life. People will say you have no life and you whatever, you have your console at home, etc. Now everybody has a video console at home or a mobile phone or a computer. And in crypto / even fan token, it's a little bit the same. The first generation of people are the early adopters, the one that will understand what we do, and it's a small portion of the population. And then after 5 years, 10 years, you start to educate, you start to have more utility or more games. You have to have more marketing or a better product or a better TV. So all of these things take time. You may have the best idea ever. You have to fit to the market, and the market is not yet there. So we have to wait, we have to invest, we have to develop a better product, and we just have to deliver in the next 5 years.
I think you will. I'm very bullish on what you continue to build. Alexander Dreyfus, CEO of Chiliz and Socios. Dude, when you come to the US, if it finally gets passed, regulatory, they stop playing games with you, and we can go to a basketball game here in the US, and we get to pick what music they come out to, we should go to a game if you ever come out to California.
If you, for your followers, we have an amazing box in Brooklyn at the Nets. We have actually the Socios box in the Barclays Stadium, Barclays Arena. If you guys want to win anything, feel free to do it.
For everyone listening, their information is down below. I'll put some links where you can not only follow Alex, but you can also follow what the project's doing. This is something that I was confused. Why no one's thinking about it? Why no one's talking about it? It must be a crypto native thing because the rest of the world is catching on. Thanks for your time, Alex. Have a good rest of the week.
Thanks to you.